Alright guys, Bohemian Rhapsody nearly sold out in Dolby. Very excited for this one.
We are
A blend of mountains.
Alright guys, so I'm very excited to talk about this one. I did go see Bohemian Rhapsody. I saw it the first time around in Dolby. I would go see it with friends opening night. And of course, I went back the next day and I saw it with my dad, who, by the way, is the main reason why I'm aware of Queen. He basically introduced me to Queen when I was a young kid, and he's a huge fan of Queen, always been, and he wanted to watch this movie the biggest way possible with the loudest sound that there could be. And of course, we did go see it in IMAX. And by the way, I will be giving you guys my thoughts of the formats themselves, Dolby and IMAX, and what I thought about the formats and how it kind of sort of changed the experience for the actual movie itself. I'll be talking about that after the review for the actual movie itself. But Bohemian Rhapsody, let's go into this movie. Basically, this movie dives deep into both the personal story of Queen's lead singer, Freddie Mercury, and the formation of the band Queen, and their many ups and downs as a band, and also telling us how they became one of the most beloved bands of all time, leading up all the way to their Live Aid performance in 1985. I'm just gonna straight up say it. I personally really love this movie. I really don't get the mixed response for this movie. Really, the only reason why this movie I think is getting mixed responses is because of the controversy surrounding the movie's director, Bryan Singer, who technically didn't really exactly direct this movie. Well, he kind of did, but at the same time, he kind of really didn't. They had to hire a different director to kind of finish the movie off. But you guys could read into that. I'm not going to explain that, and I'm pretty sure you guys are aware anyways. Now, this movie isn't exactly an accurate biopic. Of course, they had to change some things around differently, mainly, I guess, for dramatic purposes, for the sake of it being a movie. And of course, change some names of some of the characters in this movie. Like, there are some characters in this movie that end up being kind of douchebags, and I'm pretty sure if they kind of gave out the real name, the real identity of this person out to the public, a movie that's going to be released worldwide, I'm pretty sure that person would get a lot of hate, and I'm pretty sure the studio doesn't want that, no matter how much of dickheads these people actually were. But, they did have to switch some things around, but again, it was to kind of make the movie a bit more safe, just to play it safe. But a movie's job is not only to entertain the audience, but to also tell a story that will engage the audience. And this movie basically hit home with all those spots. Everyone already stated this, but Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury is easily one, if not quite possibly, the best performance of the year, in my opinion. I feel like he captured every aspect of Freddie Mercury, whether it's the good and nice version of Freddie Mercury, or maybe even the not so nice side of Freddie, which I really do appreciate that they captured both sides, because not everyone in their lives is always gonna be showing off the positive sides. Every person does make mistakes, and they kind of have to show the negative side of that person, which I really appreciate that they did that with Freddie, a big inspiration and icon to a lot of people, and he portrays his character so well that I'm sure Freddie himself would be proud of if he was still alive and came to see his performance in this movie. And of course, the other actors who portray the other members of Queen very much end up nailing it as well. And, not only performance-wise, but they just look exactly like them. And this movie got that exactly right. And I also love how not only they end up capturing the story of Freddie Mercury, but they also open up to his sexuality in this movie, which it gets in pretty deep. Even for a PG-13 movie, they do dive deep into his sexuality in this movie. And well, this movie also kind of shows us how Queen basically ended up being pretty much where they are right now, and basically telling the stories about how their most popular songs came to be. Of course, Bohemian Rhapsody, what Bohemian Rhapsody even means, that's explained in the movie. Another one, Bites the Dust, how that song came to be. They just do that with a lot of their songs in this movie, and they just kind of tell us the stories. They take time and tell us the stories of how those songs came to be, and I love that about this movie. Now, this movie does run on for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I did not at all have any pacing issues at all with this movie, which is very good, because usually, even whether the movie is maybe even an hour and 45 minutes, there is going to be some pacing issues at times, of course, depending how the movie is going. And well, this movie's way over 2 hours long, and I thought the pacing here was perfect. It never felt like it dragged at all. Although, probably my only problem that I have with this movie is that the first 15 minutes of the movie kind of ran on a little too quick. And well, it's pretty much because they kind of just wanted to go into the meat of the story, I guess. I just kind of wish that they took time more with what they told us in those first 15 minutes of the movie, and just kind of expand on it just a little bit more, maybe another 15 minutes. But I still thought, after those 15 minutes, the movie just started going in a very smooth pace, and it was really only those first 15 minutes that I just really had a problem with. But the movie, of course, pays off in the best way possible with the Live Aid performance in the end, which ran longer than I actually expected. But hey, I'm not complaining, because it's actually the best scene in the movie. And they just really end up nailing it, basically by recreating Queen's performance in the Live Aid. Just about, every detail is there. I appreciate what they did with this movie. Overall, I really love this one, and I could see how someone could be skeptical about this movie, mainly because of Bryan Singer behind this movie. But it's only one person out of the 15,000 people that worked in this movie, and it's a shame that people are gonna hate on this movie just because of one person. Because again, Rami Malek, he put his heart and soul into this movie. The producers, the writers, everybody else behind this movie that is not Bryan Singer put all their effort into this movie to make the good movie that they basically made now. And it's just a shame that a lot of people are putting this movie to shame just over the director. And look, I'm not saying that I support anything that he did, but it's just ridiculous if you ask me. But Bohemian Rhapsody, I really love this movie. Of course, my only flaw that I had with this movie were those first 15 minutes. But other than that, I kind of think that this movie is actually almost quite perfect, at least in my opinion. Definitely a movie that I would recommend go watching in full price. And with that being said, I'm going to give Bohemian Rhapsody an A. And by the way, so if you guys are going to see this movie, you guys might as well just cash out the extra money to go see this movie with a large screen and some very good surround sound. Of course, I did see this movie in the Dolby Cinema at AMC Prime, which the projection, it does offer a 4K projection with Dolby Vision in it. And the picture was very sharp, it was very vivid, you could see every detail thanks to the 4K projection. And the Dolby Atmos was really damn impressive, probably the best use of Dolby Atmos that I've ever heard in my life, and I've seen a lot of movies in Dolby. Of course, the Live Aid sequence in the end of the movie, it felt like I was just right there in the very front row watching Queen perform for the Live Aid performance. It was just that realistic. Of course, there was like thousands and thousands of people in the Live Aid performance, and it felt like I was just right there. You could just hear the audience surrounding you in the room, and just Queen right there. It was just so realistic. I loved it in Dolby, and in my opinion, even better in IMAX, the best IMAX experience I ever had. It was just so loud. You just could feel every musical note in IMAX. It was so loud. It was so immersive. I personally can't even choose a favorite. My favorite experience watching this movie, whether it's Dolby or the IMAX. I just had such a great time watching it in both formats. So see it either way you can. Just stay away from the standard theater with the dark projection and the not so great surround sound. I guess it depends on your theater. But see this movie with Dolby Atmos or if not, go see it in IMAX. I don't care. Just see this movie the biggest and the loudest way possible. It's worth it. So anyways, yeah, that's what I thought about Bohemian Rhapsody. Definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. Definitely cannot wait to own this one because I just love it that much. And I'm definitely going to go back to go see it sometime soon. But anyways, with that being said, have you guys seen Bohemian Rhapsody? What did you guys think about it? Tell me in the comment section down below, as always. And how did you see this movie? If you guys saw it in IMAX, Dolby, I don't know. Let me know. I'm very interested to find out. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.